All right, guys, let's finish up these examples. I'm going to do a text box here just because that'll be a little bit easier for me to type. So we have our magnesium bromate. Again, we know based on how we know how to name them that the metal is going to be magnesium. And then we know that bromate ends in ATE, so you will have to go to your polyatomic ion chart, which is linked in your lesson. You will have to find bromate and then find the formula for that anion, which is going to be BrO3, and then the charge is going to be minus. Okay, so the charge on the bromate is -1. The charge on the magnesium is 2+. Now, we know magnesium is a 2+ charge because it is in the second group on the periodic table, which means it has 2 valence electrons. Because it's a metal, it's going to donate its electrons, so it will be 2+. Okay, that is just something you guys have to practice with and get in your head, because if you don't know how to do that, we're going to struggle. Okay, so now we can do our swap, drop, and chop. So it's going to be just like we did with our single cation and anions. It's just this time when we have our polyatomic, we're going to leave it in parentheses. So I'm going to just do it down here. So we would have Mg, +2, and then BrO3, and I'm sorry, my annotating skills are not super great with this drawing, but that's okay. And then we're going to put him in parentheses because we know he's all together because he's a polyatomic, and his charge is -1. Okay, so now we're going to do our swap, drop, and chop. So this 2 superscript on the magnesium is going to become the subscript for bromate. And then our -1 superscript is going to become the subscript for our magnesium. Remember, we're going to drop the charges and then we're going to simplify if we can. We're not going to be able to here, but that's okay. So how you would write this would be Mg, so magnesium, and it would be a 1. Remember, we don't write the 1s because they're assumed. And then in our parentheses, we would have BrO3, and then his superscript is going to be that 2. And we've dropped the charge because remember, it's got to cancel out. So that would be your formula for your polyatomic ion, your polyatomic compound magnesium bromate. So here's what I need you to make sure you're paying attention to. The polyatomic stays in the parentheses. The subscript does not change it, okay? You treat it as if it's one whole anion. So even though there's bromine and oxygen here, you're treating it as one unit. So you leave it in the parentheses and then you put the subscript on the outside, okay? So that subscript's not going to apply to both of them, right? I mean, for our purposes, what we're doing right now, you're not going to write a Br2 and then an O6. You're just going to do the polyatomic in parentheses, and then you're going to put the subscript, okay? We'll do more of these examples, and we'll get a feel for these ions in your practice today. But this is the end of your notes, and then you can move on to doing your practice problems. And of course, as always, if you need help, definitely let me know.